Hello and welcome to Chinwag. I am Kim from Pictures Galore.
And I'm Carla at Completely Canine.
And today we're talking about imposter syndrome, which you and I both admit to having. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure plenty of people listening will relate in some way to this. I
Yeah, I
definitely think it
think
holds me back. So it'd be interesting to chat about it.
yeah, and I think everybody has it. And if you don't have it, I don't know what self-confidence
Oh,
and
I
how
know
you
plenty of
found
people
it.
who have not got imposter syndrome
Really?
without being too, sexist and judgmental, straight white men.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
I know a lot of them that
Donald Trump,
do.
he's got no imposter syndrome, hasn't he?
Let's
He's
not get
out there.
political now.
He maybe should have them. He was the first one that came to mind. But yeah, oh no, I know plenty of people, but they do generally are more likely to be men, I think, or it's more likely that women will admit to it and men won't.
Yes.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yes.
But
That's where I think it is.
yeah, everyone I've ever spoken to about it, definitely female, men deny all knowledge. So it'd be interesting if you are a man listening and you relate to this to
Mhm.
want to come and have a chat because yeah, that's my impression of it. So
Yeah, we're coming from two women, so we
yeah,
can't comment.
no, exactly. But I would just say my conversations about it have definitely been
Mm.
more so with the females.
Yeah, and what I didn't realize about it is there's five different types of imposter syndrome. I learned that today,
Well,
so we can talk through what those
let
are and which
let's
ones we
share
think
on
we have.
let's share our newfound knowledge.
Yay!
Okay, so for people who are listening who've maybe not heard the term imposter syndrome before, it's essentially a psychological phenomenon where people doubt their skills, talents, or their accomplishments.
Yes.
And it comes as it tends to show as like a fear of failure, doesn't it? I think so anyway. It's like a
Mm.
fear of failure or being criticized
Or not
or
being good enough.
not, yeah, or not being knowledgeable enough or not having the skills. It's
Yeah.
always doubting your own abilities to
Mm.
do what you're more than capable of doing.
Yeah, and I think that often comes from my perspective because it's my history is with work. So
Mm-hmm.
work's my number one with that. I think I've spoken to quite a lot of friends that are mums and they get
Okay.
it as mothers, not like being good enough or being like the best at it or that sort of thing.
I let that go a long time ago.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I am as well is well documented the most blasé mum you could ever come across. Alice literally has to bring herself up. Good luck to you.
So
She was
you don't
super
you
intense.
get it in work, don't
Yeah, I
you?
get it in
Work's your
work.
one.
Yeah, work and academic stuff because obviously I've done
Yeah.
a lot of academic stuff in my career as well. And despite getting a distinction in my masters, I still think, oh, I wonder how I did that. Like they must have marked it wrong, even to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. So
So
that's so interesting because
yeah,
I won't even start one because I'll just be like, I'll fail it
yeah,
or I'll have a panic and I'm a procrastinator. So I'll end up doing it in the last day and then I'll fail. That's where my
yeah.
brain goes.
But that procrastination is part of the imposter syndrome. It's that fear of starting because of the
Yes.
fear of
Yeah.
failing. And then it manifests in that kind
Yeah.
of perpetual cycle of, well, I can't do it, so I won't start it. And then,
Mhm.
oh God, I've got to do it. And oh, look, I've kind of proved myself right that I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, you did
Yeah.
fail. Yeah. Whereas
100%.
if you didn't have that thought about starting it, you might have started it earlier and
Mhm.
passed. Yeah.
And usually I go, why didn't I just do it? Why did I not do this 10
Yeah.
years earlier? Because I can
Yeah.
do it.
That's it. And I think this is part of the reason why I have a lot of accreditations by my name. So because it's like I have to have that external validation of what I can do.
Yeah.
So I procrastinated about getting my CCAB for years. Got it.
Mm.
Not easily, definitely not easily. It's not an easy process, but
Mm.
I didn't struggle with it. I could do
Yeah.
it.
And it's up there like at the highest point
Yeah,
of
there's like
dog
90 of us in the
behaviorists.
country. There's like
Yeah.
it's not an accreditation that's just given out. And I know this,
Mm.
and yet
Mm.
still, I
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And I think with us both, part of that is this, I'll read through the five different things in a minute, but
yeah,
it's that you go, yeah, but there's so many things that I don't know. And you come across a client where there's something you don't know, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not an expert anymore because I don't know the answer to this and I feel like I should.
So then, so this is where I get really psychological. So my first degrees are in human psychology. And so in psychology, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. And that's what that is. Yeah. And that's why when you start something, you think, oh, I know it all. Like dog training's dead easy. Like you just feed them a treat. And then that's it. Like it's so easy. And then the more you get into it, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know until you come across what you don't know.
And so then you kind of underestimate stuff, and that's a whole effect on its own. And dog training is paramount in that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a really interesting one.
Yeah. But then some, like, the flip side of it, I think in the imposters for me is when I'm teaching something and then I manage to fix it and then I go, oh my God, it worked. I don't actually know how I knew that I could get there. And I don't remember the steps that I took to learn that. Like, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I
That's just because your knowledge
how to do that.
Yeah. It's because with dog training, when you kind of learn to be a dog trainer, you don't go like day one, this is how we teach this. Day two, this is how we learn how to teach a dog different things. And then you learn how to apply that knowledge in a million different scenarios. And that's why you have that thought, isn't it? Because you've never been taught how to fix that one problem, but the 1 million things you know how to fix help you create a plan for that one problem.
Yeah, but also there's an element of being able to task switch, problem solve. There are all these, like, we spoke about this when we did our how to be what makes a good dog trainer, and it's like how to like alter your lesson plan, how to read body language, how to read people, how to know what works for that in that situation, to know how the environment works for different dogs. Like there's so many elements to it, and sometimes you go, I know, sometimes I turn up and I go, I can't, like, I don't think I can do this, like this is way beyond my limit, which sometimes it is, you know. Sometimes I don't have that knowledge, I don't have expertise,
and it's good to be aware of that. And when I assess dog trainers for the APDT, one of our things is like finding out if people know their limits, which I think is quite interesting.
I bet it really is, isn't it?
Because
no one wants to look like they can't, but...
no. And for a dog trainer, you have to know where your limits lie with behaviour, and with a behaviourist, you have to know where your limits lie to refer to a vet behaviourist. God knows what vet behaviorists do. They don't know. Like I don't know where they go after that. But like there is a tiered system within our employment. If you're a trainer, you shouldn't really be moving into behaviour unless you're qualified to. And if you're a behaviourist, you shouldn't be. If it's medical, then it needs to go to a vet behaviourist. So we have got layers that we should move up and down between, and you need to know where that is.
Yeah, definitely. And I think our industry, probably alongside many others, is quite competitive. And I think that people, I'm going to say it's predominantly the men in the industry, it's quite I need to look like I'm sort of a bit fiercer, I know what I'm doing, and you know, no one can sort of tell me any different. And the confidence is what people are sold by, I think, quite often with dog training. Maybe that's the same in other, you know, like with PTs, maybe it's a similar thing. When you're a coach, the confidence you exude is usually very sellable, whereas the empathy less so, I think, in our industry. So
maybe. But I also think if you were going to a counsellor, you would want them to have you want them to have empathy, of course, but you also want them to have some confidence in their ability. You're not going to go to somebody...
believable, isn't it? If you go to someone who's like, I know this and I can guarantee this, then you're like, I'm going to put my money in there. Absolutely.
100%. I just think that as well, because we often, as dog trainers, we work quite solo as well. Even if you have a team of trainers around you, when you're with a client, generally you're on a one-to-one basis, so you have to be able to do it all. I remember going to a seminar once, and the guy who was giving it said, you know, being a dog trainer is not a memory test. And I was like, it 100% isn't. Imagine turning up with like a textbook and being like, oh, just bear with me while I work out how to fix your dog's maternal aggression, because I don't see it very often, and I'm flicking through. I was like, of course it's a memory test. You have to know it all in your head. and then you have to be able to take it from there and move it forwards. It's like, yeah, you have to have a big knowledge bank. Okay.
You do have to have a big knowledge bank.
Should we go through these 5 different types?
Let's do it. I think I've got the same ones as you, but I can swing through those.
Cool.
Okay. So 5 different types of imposters syndrome. Where's my list gone? It's disappeared.
So, okay, you've got it.
I think so, yeah. I dared put the phone down for a minute. Okay, so the first one is the perfectionist.
Yes.
So that is believing that unless you are absolutely perfect at what you do, you're not going to be as good as others.
Hi, that's me.
Yeah, hello. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the table.
That is 100% me. And I will not start projects because I don't think it'll be good enough.
Yeah. I'm like this, so I'm not like, I am a bit like this with work, but I'm very much like it in trying new hobbies and sports, where if I think that I can't get to that level really quickly, then I probably won't start it. If I think there's going to be loads of work involved and I'm not going to be really, really good at it, it's not worth the effort.
Yeah, I don't have it with, I think because I am not sporty and have never been sporty. I wasn't the sporty ones at school. I wasn't. So I don't have it with sport. I'm quite happy to go and be pretty rubbish. So I'm a bang average runner, but I love it and I love running. And but I'm never going to be, you know, I'm never going to get like sub 3:30 in a marathon.
It's funny, in my eyes, you're like really good at running. So
yeah, but I'm definitely, but I'm not 100% not. But I work really hard to be bang average at it. But I will set myself goals and I will work to them. But I think I'm quite good with some stuff like that at being like knowing where I'm at and being okay with it.
Yeah.
But I think I always want to get better. I think that's my thing. I can't just
Which is
coast. Good. Yeah, I always want to get better.
I coast with a lot of things. I'm okay. I think I'm comfortable being average at quite a lot of things. I don't push for everything. There's certain things where I'm like, no, like it makes me feel amazing to be really good at this.
Yeah. I think maybe that comes from your past as well, as to whether you're gonna, you know, if you were really sporty at school and you were always on the teams, then it must be hard then to start a new sport like paddle or something that's quite relatively new. Takes a lot of hand-eye coordination, and if you're not naturally good at it straight away, your brain's like, yeah, but you were good at hockey or netball or whatever it was when you were at school, so why can't you do this? You're rubbish. You're failing. And
I think it may be as well because I was quite naturally sporty, so I was quite good at a range of things when I was younger. I used to play like on the boys team for a couple of the things as well, so then like I have quite a high standard of myself to be able to be good at it. And I think I did have that from like family members as well, is that you do, if you do things for a high standard, then you get lots of attention for it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't do it to a high standard, then nobody listens.
Yeah.
So you don't bother.
Yeah.
You don't do it.
Yeah.
Sounds really sad. But...
No, but it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I definitely am a perfectionist at work. It takes me ages to write a behaviour report because I always think it could be better, and I struggle to finish things. I struggle to start things, and then I struggle to finish them because I always think it could be better. And that's where being on my own is really problematic, because deadlines are really movable. So if I think I'll do this for this date, I go, oh, it's not quite ready, and so I'll just move the date, and then I'll be like, oh, it's not quite ready, and it has to be perfect, and that's when I struggle if I don't feel it's perfect.
Yeah, we had something like that with our like Treetops online hub, because it's like a lot of the stuff on there, we were making it and it was like, well, we want to wait until finished things done, the finished thing. It's never going to be a finished thing because it's a tutorial hub where you're going to keep adding. So it's got to a point now where it's like, where we can find the time, we'll make and edit one of the videos and we'll put it on in one section. If one section is not finished, doesn't matter, we're just going to upload as we go and people can go through it and we can tweak it as we go, and that's okay. So when I'm teaching classes or workshops, I think especially so workshops where I might be adding elements in that are quite new to me to teach to a group, I might have done it here and there. Even if everyone's like, that was awesome. We had so much fun in that. Like we learned so many skills, and they've had no expectations for the workshop.
Yes.
I come back and I'm like, okay, it was mostly good, but actually, like, there's all these things, criticisms that I have about myself where I'm like, I could have done that. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. I should have had that. That's the standard of myself. Do you know what I mean? It's like you pick out on the little criticisms where you could have been better and you should have been better.
I think that's a good thing, though.
It can be helpful, but
it can be a hindrance.
Can stop you seeing the good things about yourself.
But I think also if you came back and you were like, I smashed that was awesome, I was amazing, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I think I'm not sure that that's also a good place to be at. Like, I always think
no imposters.
I mean, that would be quite nice, but I do think that there's a balance between going, do you know what, that went really well, everyone really enjoyed it, next time I think what I could do to improve that would be X, Y, and Z. Like it's trying to. I don't have the balance. I'm very much like that was rubbish. like you were saying, could have done all these things better. And then it's finding that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is the expert. I'm probably crossing over some of these because they're quite close, but the expert feels like an imposter because they don't know everything there is to know. So this is what did you call it?
Dunning-Kruger effect.
The Dunning-Kruger effect. So you haven't mastered a particular subject topic or every step in the process because there's more time to learn and they don't feel like they've reached top rank of expert.
I have this.
I have it too. But I don't feel like I'm going to get to expert, so I kind of let go of it a bit.
I think partly I can justify it. Like, I think I'm this. I always think there's more to know. I always think that I can treat things better. And I do CPD and all sorts. And I do the CPD and I go, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm finding it quite hard to find new stuff. But in the research field of our industry, new stuff is coming out all the time.
Yes.
So you can only be an expert to a certain level. But yeah, I definitely feel like this. Even with my level of accreditation, I still think, oh yeah, but you fluked that, didn't you? Like, and you can't fluke getting CCAB. No. It's a 2-year process. It's not like you just turn up and have a good day. It's and it is, but I do think that our industry is probably bad for this. It must be like being a PT where there's so many ways to strengthen a muscle, but there's always more.
Yeah. Like you said as well, like we're still learning so much about dogs as humans. So it's impossible. If anyone ever tells you that they're an expert and they know everything about dogs, they're just an absolute idiot.
It's just not true.
No, you can't know it all at all. And you can't know it all by intuition because we are not dogs.
And if they've had dogs their whole life, they still don't know it all either.
No. All the 6 Labradors they've had their whole life.
Yeah, I've had a few of them in my time. Shall we scroll back up to the superhuman that you missed out?
Oh, mine's in a different order.
Oh, okay. Are we looking at the same thing but on a different? That's freaks me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's fine then.
Number 3 on mine is the natural genius.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have that on yours? Yeah. So this is where you feel like a fraud simply because you don't believe you are naturally intelligent or competent. So this is like across the board. Like you're just not a clever, intelligent person at all. So you shouldn't have this. I don't think I have this one. Do you have this one?
Yeah, I have this one.
You don't think you're intelligent?
No.
Really? Oh, no,
it's true. Yeah, no. I'm definitely this one. Probably this one almost the most.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I have a lot of certificates to help me disprove this one. Yeah.
But they don't work.
No. I think even if I got a PhD, which I would quite like to do one day, I still would think I would sit within this one.
Oh, that's really interesting. So do you get that feeling with everything then, like in general life, or does it just affect work?
I don't know, because I've never really had any instance of needing it kind of outside of work. But it's on the list I've got. It says, do you avoid certain tasks with fear of failure or looking like a fool? Like, yes.
Yeah.
100%. I
Okay.
will avoid doing stuff because I think, oh, if I fail, people will laugh or they'll judge. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, because I've got a lot of friends that would say like I'm not, I would say out loud I'm not clever, or because I'm not, like I can't do that type of thing, so pass it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it in only like specific contexts. I do it in a lot in when I talk business, or I
Yeah.
talk about like house buying, like this sort of adult world that's quite new to me here. I kind of brush myself off and I go,
Oh yeah.
well, it's because I don't know anything about this stuff. Like, but then I find it quite hard to learn it.
Yeah. Well, I'm helping. Alice has got her year 6 sat, so she's 10, nearly 11,
Yeah.
and we have to do homework together. And I'm like, I I don't I don't know.
Yeah, but it's hard.
Oh my god, it's so hard.
Like secondary maths and
We're
like
not
late
there
primary
yet.
maths.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like it's
Oh,
hard.
she does stuff. And also, I don't think it helps now that they teach maths completely different to how I learned maths. So she does things in a completely different way. And we get the same answer, but the route to getting there is like completely different. It's the English. They have to do these adverbs and all these words I've never heard before. And she'll say, what is it? And I have to Google it. And then that really feeds into this.
Yeah. So the only reason I think maybe then why I probably hold on to more confidence with stuff like that is because I taught kids as soon as I left school. So I carried on almost like retaining and practicing. And I taught up to secondary. So it was like all the stuff that you learn at like the school intelligence.
Yeah.
Because it's not just school intelligence.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn specific things, but not for real life. Yeah, exactly. So I have retained probably quite a lot of school intelligence, but then it's the more like common sense stuff, or the asserting yourself in an argument and being able to speak, intelligently in arguments and stuff. That's where I struggle. Like I struggle to put my thoughts into words, and we all have an area that we find a little bit tricky. So if I had to do a debate between me and another dog trainer, I think I'd just crawl in a corner.
Yeah.
That's what I'd do.
Whereas I know I can do that.
Yeah.
But I would still, if I can do that in the moment. So again, going back to when I assessed dog trainers, there was you had to do a written exam, then you do a practical exam, and then you do an oral where you're examined on what you did in your practical, and anything in your written exam that wasn't quite right, we kind of help you to explain yourself, because some people I can write down the answer, and some people are very good at taking what they've got off Google and putting it into text as well. Some people are very good at teaching, but not very strong on the understand, like not strong on the understand, but not strong on being able to verbalize what they know. And so it gives you like loads of different ways. And then some people would start a debate with me about something, and then I can do it. But if you said, right, you're going to go and do a podcast where you're going to debate somebody, if I knew that was going to happen, I'd put myself into a spiral. But if I end up in that situation, I know I can do it. So there's definitely something there as well.
Something about pressure, maybe.
Yeah. Or just thinking, I don't know enough now to be able to do that debate. And so I kind of end up like self-doubting myself about my knowledge, even though when I do it, I'm absolutely fine doing it. So yeah, that's definitely part of it as well. Okay, next one.
I've got the soloist next.
Yeah.
So this is where I had to get my head around this when I read it twice. If you had to ask for help, hold on. If you had to ask for help to reach a certain level or status, it's impossible to feel like an imposter. Since you couldn't get there on your own, you question your competence and abilities. So it's this: if you had to ask for help, then you are not good at what you do. Is that right?
I think so.
You couldn't do it by yourself.
Yeah. So you have to you have to be able to do it on your own. Otherwise, you're an imposter because somebody else got you there.
Yeah.
That's me.
Hi. I think I had that too.
Hi. I don't like asking for help.
For those of you that are listening and not seeing, we're just sitting here with our hands held up like, hello.
I always thought that this came from being an only child.
Okay.
And this is Alice in a nutshell. I can do it was her favorite phrase. You could not teach that child anything. I can do it was what she would just say. Let me help you tie your shoelaces, Al. I can do it.
Were you the same?
But you can't. I think I probably was.
See, I was too.
Very
independent.
But I was
oldest child.
Yes, maybe it's the same. Yes, maybe. Yeah.
You just have to get on with it because the youngest has to take priority when you're little. So yeah.
Whereas I am fiercely, always have been fiercely independent. And I think maybe being an only child can go really imagine shock. I think being an only child can almost go one of two ways, where you can become fiercely independent because you kind of have to stand on your own 2 feet, or you can kind of be mollycoddled, is that the word, where everything is done for you because you're the only one, and so you get all the attention, everything and the time is done for you because it's there's no one else to deal with. No, I definitely fall into and Alice definitely falls into the fiercely independent, and I tell myself when she's older it will help her, but then I read this and I'm like, oh, maybe it won't. Oh, no. My God.
Well, we can just tweak a couple of things, it's fine, it's all good. I think I would like to be more comfortable in asking for help, and I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe it is this and I haven't realized that it's the imposters.
It's like a counseling session for us.
I feel learning so much about myself in this chinwag episode that we're doing for other people. This is like an insight to a live counseling session, isn't it? But I thought it was that I would feel like I look stupid or I look vulnerable or something if I ask for help. Maybe it's a bit of that. I don't know.
Maybe when I left school, when I left uni, I didn't leave school, I went to uni. When I left uni, I got it was really hard to find a job at the time. And so I ended up working in the care sector, which I really, really enjoyed. And then I really wanted to buy a property on my own, surprisingly enough, with no help from anybody else. And so I went into sales, and I sold IT. Now, for anybody who's ever followed me on an Instagram story, I know nothing about IT. My computer makes a funny noise, I ask Instagram because is it going to explode? And I was the only female in an office full of men selling something I did not understand. And I still didn't ask for help.
Did you do it?
I bought a house and then I left.
So yeah.
But yeah, that was a really tough environment. That I could show no weakness there because it was very much,
I do think though, there's a level of these experiences that are really good for us.
Oh, totally.
To learn in the deep end.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it's great.
Yeah, 100%. And I still I met John there. I've still got friends that I worked with there and stuff. So I did enjoy it. I'm not saying it was a horrible experience, but I was going to be the tease maid if I wasn't careful.
Yeah.
So that taught me a lot. But it was I could ask for help, but there was certain people I would trust to ask for help that wouldn't then. Do you know what I mean? It was because sometimes I really did need help. I was way out of my depths. But quite happy being out of my depths. I didn't really care that much. It wasn't a career for me. It was a means to an end. And but an interesting one. Okay. Final one then on your list.
Final one on my list is the super person. So the super person is the person who believes that you must be the hardest worker or reach the highest levels of achievement possible so that you are not a fraud.
Again,
welcome to the table, Kim.
Can we put one up that does not? I don't fit into. Yeah.
Okay. So
I definitely think hard work equals. Yeah. I was going to say hard work equals success, but I think that everyone kind of thinks that as well. I feel like I have to work harder to be as good as somebody else. I would put more hours in for the same impact that somebody else would get in half the time.
Yeah, same. I think I can work very hard. I think my history in my job is that I work very hard. In my head, long hours. So long hours equals working hard.
Yes.
But when I met Steph, what I realised is you can also work smart. And if you work smart, you don't have to work lots of hours and work hard. So that's something that I'm still learning how to do, because I don't feel like I'm someone who naturally, or from a family of people that work smart. We are like proper, what do you call it? Sort of like middle class, proper working
grafters.
hours. Grafters, physical job grafters.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't always step outside your box to think about how you could make your own life easier or reduce stress by putting in a little bit of investment into something to make it better. So that's where I am. That's where I'm learning.
Yeah. In that job I was just talking about, it was expected that you were the first in, last out. And I think that didn't help. And I would faff to fill my time, because I am much better. If I have 1 hour to do a million jobs, all of those jobs will be done in that hour. No messing. Yeah. I can work really fast, really efficiently. I love a to-do list. I can quite happily sit, knock everything out and be done. But then we've talked about this before, I don't like having downtime. I'm not very good at it. I don't know how to fill it. I can't just sit. I couldn't in a daytime sit and watch TV. Like, I couldn't do that at all. But I could sit and read a book. there are some things. Because I think reading is productive, and I don't think TV watching is productive. Because that's what
adding
it is
to your life.
Yeah. But also I have a reading goal for the year. Of course you do. Books. Paddleboarding is my one thing. That is definitely I'm going to get my board out and go out for a few hours.
I mean, it's moving and it's exercise and it has an end goal, but it's still your relaxation.
But I will also just sit on my board and drift.
Perfect.
Significantly.
On your own, into nowhere.
Yeah. So I know that I can, but I will also fill my time as well. So if I have a to-do list, and most days I have a list of things I need to do, and it will include everything, the runs I need to do, weight training, work, anything like that, anything that needs to be done for Alice. If I want to sort out a cupboard, anything will go on my to-do list, and it all gets ticked off. It will get done in as much time as I have to fill. So if I have 1 hour to do it all, probably get it. Well, maybe not the running and stuff, but you know what I mean? No. Like, it will all get done. If I have 6 hours to do it, it will take 6 hours.
Yeah. I'm a bit like that. I only realize I'm like that when I've got 4 days to complete this one task, and then someone's coming round in 20 minutes and I managed to do it in 15 minutes. Because I'm like, well, they're going to be here soon and I can't just sit and wait for them. So I'm going to fill my time by doing that thing that is supposed to take 4 hours that I can now do in 10 minutes. And then because I can do it in 10 minutes, I'm like, oh God, I've got no excuse now. I can just do it in 10 minutes. So next time I've got to do it.
So I did my master's in animal behaviour, and I started that when Alice was 2 years old. And John worked away. Pretty much Monday to Friday. Pretty much at that point, he was away all week, every week. And so my study time started at 6 o'clock in the evening, and I would normally try and work until 11 to get it done. And that was it. And that's how I did my master's. And that's the only, because I still worked and had Alice, who didn't go to nursery. So I had a very full day. And the times when I didn't have Alice, I would have work appointments. And you just get it done. Whereas now, I just faff around with that for hours. Being a perfectionist about it. Whereas I think I did have to let go of a lot of stuff when I did that, because I was like, that's what I've got. That's it. That's my time. It's finished. The essay has to be submitted.
So maybe having Alice did well for you.
Probably. Yeah, because I didn't have as
chill out a bit.
Time. Chill out?
Chill out as in with your standards and goals and that sort of thing.
But we used to have exams on a Sunday morning, and so that would be like Saturday night fun.
Woo!
Studying for my exam on a Sunday morning.
Do you know what?
Fun times.
Do you know what I do on my evenings now at the weekend?
Oh God, I dread to think.
What I've done the last couple of weeks is my music exam,
Oh,
piano.
yeah.
I eat my dinner and I'm like, I'm going to do some questions on my exam paper. Just get sit there and do my exam questions.
We need to get you out more.
I need a social life.
Yeah,
I quite enjoy it. I'm happy.
Yeah, I do think though that I'm quite happy to sit and work. Like I don't, more than I probably need to.
Yeah, I used to be. When I got this house, finally, I there's so many things I've got to do with it.
Yes.
That it's almost sitting in it doing work. I'm like,
oh,
that needs painting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as well, it's again going back to that point where when you're a sole trader and you're on your own and the only deadlines are either ones that you've imposed on yourself or come from clients, it is really hard. You have to be very disciplined to get things done and off the ground. And then if you have imposter syndrome, then those things creep in to make it really challenging.
Yeah. And I've had a really nice conversation this week with somebody, and I get along really well with people who give things to me straight, and they'll just go, why haven't you done this? Because you can do that. You just haven't bothered doing it, or you're being lazy with it. And I hate it. I have the conversation and I'm like, oh, shut up. And then I go away from the conversation. I'm like, I needed a kick up the arse. Thank you. I've done all these things. I've got a to-do list. I'm going to do this. And then I start doing it. And because I don't have anyone to do that, I don't have a partner, I don't have kids, I don't have anything like that, I have to hear it from external spaces where people are like, why haven't you already got this set up? Why are you not having this as your goal? And then I'll go, why aren't I actually? Because I can do that. I actually can do that. I can succeed in it. So
I think it's accepting sometimes like how I feel, like this is me, it's not like preaching, but I have to accept sometimes that is what it's going to feel like, and if I want to do it, I have to lean into it and do it anyway.
Brené Brown, lean into the discomfort.
It is a bit of that, and it is understanding that it doesn't have to be perfect, and the only person that doesn't know it's perfect is you, and
that's true.
All of those things. But it is really interesting. I hadn't seen those 5 before. I'm really pleased I fit into all 5 of them. That's made me feel really good about myself today. I haven't got one problem, I now have 5, so that's excellent.
Sorry about that, love.
Really hoping that someone listening also fits into all 5.
I love that. I'm not 1 times imposters, I'm 5 times imposters. But I have to go now because I've got to go.
You've got to go to work.
I have got to go to work.
Right. Well, thanks for destroying my self-confidence in that.
You're welcome. Go and enjoy your floating down a river.
Bye.
Bye.